Kia ora, Helen from coming live from Sun City in Arizona. I thought I had a few more seconds while I was taking a deep breath. Just help calm me down. How was your Magic Monday, or was it like mine, a Manic Monday? Just another Manic Monday. That's what it felt like today. I was all set for a beautiful, magical Monday to start off what's going to be an incredible week. And instead it went crazy. It went totally off the rails. It was like we got slammed on the help chat today. It was crazy. I'm trying to think the last time I remembered a day like this. And it wasn't just, and sometimes you get days where it's you get like a couple of themes throughout the day where it's like every other person is asking the same question about the same thing. Today, it was all over the board. It was a real smorgasbord of questions today. It was insane. It was awesome. Loved every single minute of it. And then partway through the afternoon, I'm in the middle of typing a chat, and there's a knock at the door. And I thought, oh, maybe that's my Amazon delivery, because I got 3 deliveries today. So I thought it was the second one, because the third one is almost here. Excuse me. And it turned out to be, so went to the door, big knock, went to the door, opened it up, and it was actually my next door neighbor on my passenger side, which is an RV, and she's standing there with my Amazon order. They had delivered it to 06 instead of 08. And I'm like, okay, that definitely, there's no mistyping, there's no misreading the numbers on the address of the boxes. In front of my RV, I have a sign that has 2208 down the thing, so you can't miss it. It lights up at night. It wasn't dark, so it's, you can't miss the numbers. So it was just, I'm like, oh my gosh, what are they doing? So I finally got to meet my neighbor over there. I haven't had a chance to stop and talk with her, but we still didn't have a chance to stop. We just introduced ourselves. And because I met her husband a while ago when they first arrived and hadn't had a chance to actually meet her. So we got to meet her. And so she passed me my order, and I got back to work, and I was sat down and go, oh, what was I typing again? So I haven't even had a chance to open those 2 boxes that arrived, because those are my Ring doorbell and my security cameras for inside the RV. So, and I didn't have time today to even look at them, not even take a break to look at them. I barely got a break. I barely had enough time at times to get up and fill up my water bottle, go to the bathroom, and come back to work again. It was sort of like quick all day, because the calls were just coming in like crazy today. And like I said, it was a smorgasbord. I mean, if it was similar questions, I could just copy and paste previous answers and put those in, but nope. Every question was different. We ran the gamut today. It was like I said, a smorgasbord of questions. It was awesome. So I do have one order that is on its way, and according to the tracking, it is about, I think it's like, no, that's not even that. It's almost at the point where they will put the map up to say how many stops away are they. So there's got the little ball, and it's got about this much of the track left on the end of the ball. So yeah, it's going to be insane. So, and that one's got the batteries in that I need for the new, because Zephy's going to be starting training again. We've been training her anyway, doing, training every day, but we're adding a new component to her training, and that is going to be teaching her to talk. And you're going, teaching a dog to talk? Yes, you can get buttons, and they press the button, and you record words on different buttons. So if they want outside, if they want to play, if they're tired, although I don't see if you'll ever do that one, if they're hungry. And I'm sort of worried about the hungry one, because this one, around anytime between 11:30 and 12:30, she will get up out of bed, come out here, and start eating whatever's in her bowl. That's when she eats her dinner. She's crazy. I tell you, crazy. And I come out in the morning, the bowl is completely empty, her food bowl completely empty, and there's only half a bowl of water left as well. So she has a good feed in the middle of the night. And I'm concerned she's going to start in the middle of the night going, hungry. But I should have bought them over. But they're these push button things that, like I said, you record on them, and they press the button with their paw, and it's a way of them communicating with you what you want. So you teach them one word at a time, and you put the button, like I will put the button near her food bowl and go, hungry, and press it, and it goes, hungry, because I have to record the voices. She'll get my friend Kathy to do it, since she's the one that does all the talking videos of Zephy. So she'll probably tell, but Zephy already talks. Yes, I know he does. So maybe I should get her to record them. So it's a different voice or something. I don't know. But teach her all different sorts of things. And so you start off with one word and put it near that area. Like if she's hungry, you put it near the food bowl. And every time you put food in there, you go hungry and press the button. And she gets her food. And you keep training them that way. And you watch them over progression. And they've got a little chart there of what stage they should be at what during the week. Like they may go and sit next to it and just look at it. I tried her with bells one time for the door when she wanted to go out, and she refused it. She wouldn't touch them at all. She would sit there and look at them and wouldn't do anything with them. And then one day she was playing and she accidentally rung them. I went, oh, you want to go outside? Okay. And so I got her harness on, I got a leash on and walked her on outside, and she's sort of like, wait, what? She was so confused, like, what happened? I said, you ring the bells. So it's so we're going to be teaching her to talk using these buttons. We'll use the buttons for different things. And the book's got some suggested words that you start with. So we're going to be following that guide as well. So that will be going in on top of her other training that she does. She's starting to get really good. When she wants to cooperate, tell you she's like a child at times. When she wants to cooperate, she will get up on her back legs, and she is now starting to walk forward. Getting her to walk forward has actually helped improve her backwards walking when she's on her hind legs. So she can get up on her hind legs and she can walk backwards. And she's done it when you're completely distracted with something else, like a treat by her nose that's just out of reach, and you start moving your hand backwards, and she will start walking backwards with it. And I discovered that when we moved to the spot. Might have been the other spot we were at when we first got here. And like I've said before, her basket of treats travels in the bottom of the shower along with her food bowl stand and everything, and her container of food. So anything Zephy related goes on the floor of the shower while we're traveling, so it doesn't go anywhere. And I can get to it while we're traveling to give her a bowl, to give her some water, food, whatever. And so I picked up the basket of treats, and she got up on her hind legs in front of me. And as I'm walking down from the shower just here down to the front of the RV to put it on the driver's seat, which is where it goes, she walked backwards the entire way on her hind legs with her nose stuck to the basket, like sniffing and moving her head along. And she just walked backwards beautifully. And so we've been encouraging her to do that, keep walking on her back legs. And so then I thought, and then something happened the other day, and she went forward. No, we've been teaching her just to stand there, because I've been teaching her to stand on her legs, and so she figured out how to go backwards. But teaching her to come forward has been a bit more challenging for her. And I love challenging her because I like the way that she works things out. And she's gotten up to 7 steps is the most that she's done forward. And now she kind of does like 2, or she'll kind of lunge towards me and put her feet on my stomach, or when she lunges, they usually end up on my stomach. And I'm going, no. And we go back to the start. We get back up on the legs, and I just slowly move the treat forward. And when I start moving the treat forward slowly, then she kind of gets it, and she starts taking the steps. And then all of a sudden, she'll just drop down. Or I could tell she's about to drop down, so I give her praise for the 3 or 4 steps she's taking. But one day she did 7. That's the most she's done. So we keep working on that, and then we take a couple of days break from it, and then we come back to it. But I have noticed that because when we're working on her walking backwards, she would go back and then she would go back and go to her right and do this like this curve, and start walking around in a circle, which I thought, well, that's good. She knows that trick. But I've noticed that as we've been working on her walking forward, when it comes time for her in the evenings after we finish the training, before she can go and look for her treats, because we hide the treats first, then she does some training, and then I bring out the chew stick, and she gets the chew stick along with the other little treats. And the little treats are like about this big. They're really they're little tiny things. But I have noticed that when she does her backwards walk for her chew stick, that it has improved, and she goes straighter this time. And I believe that having her walk forward, and there's even been times when she has bunny hopped forward on her back legs. Instead of walking, she will bunny hop. And I'll take any forward movement where she stays up on her back legs with her balance. That's fine. Bunny hop or walk, she can choose. At this stage, I don't care, as long as I get her going forward and staying up on her back legs. And so I've noticed that that's helped improve her backward walk. She now goes in straight lines rather than going towards the back and starts curving. So it's been really good. So we're now going to add the element of learning to press buttons in order to communicate. So we'll keep you posted on how that goes. There may be some little videos coming out of those ones. We shall see. We shall see. But tonight, I wish I had my phone on me tonight because I'm putting my shoes on. And I looked around the corner where she is because I sitting on the couch and then her crate's there. And then she was around the corner with her butt on the doghouse. And the doghouse in an RV is the hump. If you've got the engine in the front, there's a hump between the two front seats up against the dashboard. That's called your doghouse. And you can actually unscrew the top of it and you can take it off and access the engine area. And that's quite often where they go in. Like if you've got to check the oil, because it's got this really, really long dipstick. And when you're out the front of the thing, you're bending this thing out to get it out of there. But if you want to go straight up, you unscrew the top of the doghouse and you've got access to the top of the engine there. And that's where Zephy likes to lay with her head on the engine when we're driving. And it gets really warm. Even in the middle of summer, she was laying there with her head on the thing just as we're driving along in these high temperatures and stuff. And she was quite happy to lay there like that. But she usually sits with a butt on it. And I looked over. She had her head down on the floor and a butt up in the air. And she just laid there like with her mouth open. I'm like, what are you doing? And she just went, ah. Whatever. But it was just so out of character for her to do that. So, so today we start training. And on the buttons as soon as the batteries arrive. And, they just said it's going to be late because I was supposed to be here by 6 o'clock. And it says that it's late now. So maybe they'll be delivered after 6. I don't know. We'll see. But they were supposed to be here between 2 and 6, and it's just gone 6 o'clock. So we shall see if they will attempt to deliver this evening or if they will put it off till tomorrow. It's always interesting with Amazon is when you get your stuff. Most of the time they're on time. There's just that odd little one that says, oh, we'll be there by 6 o'clock, and usually it gets delivered the next day. So as soon as we get the batteries, because we need batteries, and I don't have enough AAA batteries left. In fact, I think I'm out of AAA batteries, which is why I had to go order these ones. So anyway, I'm out of here. It's time for me to go get some dinner and have cauliflower hash browns for dinner tonight. I think. I don't know. Gotta go raid my fridge, see what I got. I actually wouldn't mind some chicken wings. But no, I'm going to stay at home tonight and have dinner here at home. We're not going to get it delivered. So anyway, we're out of here. Go have a super fantastic, sparkling evening. How crazy was? Did you guys have a crazy Monday? Let us know in the comments below how crazy your day was. I'm still looking for a book series. Oh, that's what I was going to tell you. So I'm busy looking for a book series. So while I'm looking for another book series to listen to while I'm out walking, I've been listening to Betty White's can't think of the name of the book, but it's just it's very, very short chapters. And one of them she was talking about writing. And I thought, well, this will be interesting, how to, her style of writing. And it turns out we have very similar ways of writing. She likes to write longhand on paper. And I'm like, I do that too. But when she gets writer's block, she finds that, and she actually learned this from, and once she said it, when she was doing this, she actually learned that other writers do this as well. And that was that she had to have a certain packet of paper that she would have to break open and take a new piece out, and it helped unlock the writer's block. And I'm like, okay, I do that with my journals. If I get writer's block, I'm like, I'll get a picture in my head of a journal. I'm like, I need to go get that journal out. Like, I know which journals I already have that are empty, that are in my storage, and or under the bed anyway, in the storage under the bed. And I'll go and open up a new journal, and it just starts flowing. Don't ask me how, don't ask me why. And then she was saying about this one particular author. She didn't say who it was. They had to have a certain shade of green paper. They'd go buy a packet of this certain shade of green paper, and they would open, and that would help clear their writer's block. I'm like, well, that's interesting. And I thought I do a similar thing, but with journals, not with paper, but with journals. And then she gets to the next piece, and I just cracked up laughing. I thought, that is so me. And she said she likes to write everything out longhand, which is what I do. I get my journals and I start writing my stories in my journals and stuff. And and then you start copying it over. Now she will do the copy, and I used to do the copy in longhand. Now I like when I'm transcribing it from my journal into the computer, then that's when it happens for me. But I used to do the same thing that she was talking about, that like you write the story out longhand and then you've got to go and rewrite it. And I did this a lot in high school because that's where I discovered all the writing stuff. I did this a lot in high school, that as I was rewriting out the story to make it all nice and neat and get rid of the errors and all that sort of stuff, I would actually edit it while I was writing. So by the time I got that piece written, it was completely different to the piece I'd originally written because all these changes had been made throughout the thing. And I thought, I do that all the time. And now it's like I take my journal and I sit there and I type the notes up, and I'm like editing as I'm typing up my script. So as I'm typing up what I've written, I'm editing it as I'm typing it into the computer, into the writing program that I have. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I do the same thing. So that was kind of cool. I thought that was kind of cool to have something in common with Betty White, apart from the fact that she's an amazing person. And she even talked in this book about becoming an honorary forest ranger, which is something when she was growing up, she wanted to be a forest ranger or a zookeeper. But in the days when she was growing up, women were not allowed to be in those roles. And so she's actually, years later, the forestry found out, somebody at the forestry found out about it. So they had this whole ceremony where she got to be an honorary forest ranger, and her dad had a forest ranger hat. And so they actually gave her a forest ranger hat. And she said, that's when I almost lost it. She was up there. She was a beautiful event that they had planned and everything else, and everything was going fine. I'm up there at the podium and they're presenting me with my honorary my badge and certificates and all this sort of stuff. And she says, I was fine up until that point. And then they bring out this ranger's hat. And she said, that's where I almost lost it, because it reminded me so much of my dad, of her dad. So I thought that was really cool. So she now has her own, she had her own ranger hat, forest ranger hat. So she was an honorary forest ranger. And then, of course, working at the LA Zoo. She got to be a zookeeper through her work with the LA Zoo. So those were the two things she wanted to be when she grew up, and she had a chance to do them. So I thought that is so awesome. But I love listening to these little stories and some of the backstories and things. And they're just like these little short chapters. Each chapter is like 3, maybe 4 minutes. Like the whole book's like 2 hours and a little bit. And each of these chapters is like a couple of minutes, 2 to 3 minutes here, 2 to 5 minutes, but it's a really good book, and I can't remember the name of it. So, sorry. But anyway, I'm out of here. I got to get moving. Oh, I said the wrong word because the dog's hit something. What you talking about? I need to go get my dinner. So have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here bright and early tomorrow morning for terrific, tantalizing Tune-Up Tuesday. I don't know. I'm trying to think of different T words to go with a Tuesday instead of tune-up. But have a super fantastic sparkling evening. Hey, Gonera.